Good evening, everyone. And last week I did the potential 2020 Democrat primary candidates, and I decided to do that for the Republicans as well, using Republican colors. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and start with the obvious. Donald Trump, Republican, New York, position, president. Things your 2008 self would not expect in 100 years. I'll take that for 500, Alex. Chance of running declared. Seriously, he's campaigning already. Pros. POTUS can run a positive campaign in 2020 due to a so far very strong economy that is outpace some optimistic forecasts. Good at running a negative campaign, a large loyal base. I've called it a cult of personality a few times. Did I mention POTUS? That stands for President of the United States, by the way, for those of you unfamiliar with that acronym. Though most people watching my channel probably are familiar with it. Cons. Brash, crass, has baggage, hasn't quite lived up to some promises. The Wall, anyone? Wing appeal, populist, iconoclast, anti-establishment. You could argue there's some establishment appeal too, now that he's president. Mike Pence, Republican, Indiana, vice president. Chance of running? Very unlikely. That might change depending on certain things, but I highly doubt that's going to. Pros, Midwestern, seems a decent fellow. Good campaigner, knowledgeable, vice president, likable, conservative. Cons, that whole religious liberty law might come back to bite him in the general. Might be a little bit bland. I think that's why he was chosen as vice president, is because he is a little bland and white toast. Should have been the nominee in 2000. Wing conservative establishment. Rand Paul, Republican, Kentucky, senator. Chance of running? Very unlikely. Pros, galvanizes young GOP voters, popular even in the middle, and I've met a lot of Democrats who have a generally positive, though, view of him, though they disagree with him. He's kind of like, I don't want to say the Republican Bernie Sanders, but because that's actually Ron Paul. But I've noticed that for some reason he just attracts followers and fans. Speaking of, can attract Ron Paul voters, fairly well respected. Cons, his hair. Seriously. Ron Paul light. That is one of the criticisms of Rand Paul is he's essentially a socially conservative version of his father in some respects. Tea Party, that might draw a little bit of baggage. Wing/appeal, Tea Party and the Libertarians. Mark Cuban, independent, Texas, business exec and a celebrity. I'm not kidding. You guys are reading that correctly. I put him in both because he has said that he would likely run as a Republican if he did run in 2020 or for president in the future. So yes, you've seen him in both the Democrat and Republican videos. Chance of running? Possible. I'm not ready to say this ship has sailed. Pros, he's a fan of Ayn Rand. Presentable, intelligent, business experience, lines up more on economic policy. Cons, endorsed Hillary Clinton in 2016, might upset social conservatives. Wing and appeal, the never Trump celebrity role. John Kasich, Republican, Ohio, governor. By 2020, he's going to be former governor. Chance of running? Likely. Pros? governor, popular, national profile, can campaign without pissing off his state. Mentioned in the same breath as John Hickenlooper, a Democrat. Trump would eat him for breakfast in a primary, as proven by 2016. Wing appeal, never Trump establishment. Marco Rubio, Republican, Florida senator. Chance of running, not likely. Pros, photogenic, good demographic appeal. Florida, popular, moderate in some areas, but conservative where needed. Cons, Little Marco. Wing and appeal, the establishment. Nikki Haley, Republican from South Carolina, ambassador to the United Nations. Chance of running, very unlikely. In 2020, at least. In 2024, I would venture to say she is the Republican front runner for 2024. Pros, intelligent, great demographic appeal. Southern, very capable in foreign policy, conservative credentials. Cons, I seriously cannot find very many flaws with Nikki Haley. As a matter of fact, I personally can't find any, from a Republican perspective. From a Libertarian perspective, I have a few complaints, but yeah, Republicans need to run her in 2024. Wing and appeal, establishment, or conservative. Probably a little bit of both, though she really appeals to most everyone. Tim Scott, Republican, South Carolina, senator. Chance of running, unlikely. In 2024, I would change that to likely. Pros, demographics, Southern, conservative. He's actually really intelligent if you listen to him. Cons, not a national figure. Not the most prominent Republican even. Would get lost in a potentially crowded field. Wing and appeal, conservative. He just needs to make a name for himself, which that's not that hard to do. Ben Sasse, Republican from Kansas. He's a senator. Chance of running, possible. I'm not ready to push it up to likely just yet. Pros, conservative and a good campaigner. Cons, not a national figure, perhaps a bit too libertarian for the Republicans, and he also has Tea Party baggage. Wing and appeal, Tea Party and libertarians. And, honestly, that's really all I can think of for Republican candidates, simply because most have come home to Trump. I'm not ready to put Mitt Romney on this list just yet, though if you were to put him on the list, I would say his chance of running is possible. His pros are he's a conservative, somewhat proven conservative. He's a good campaigner. He appeals to most Republicans. Cons, loser in 2012. He had some fairly significant gaffes as well. And his wing and appeal would be the establishment. And of course, he's a Republican from Utah now, and he'll likely be the next senator from Utah. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you had a nice day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.